I assume you're voting for Trump when assumption is a lazy form of dialogue. Memes and accountability. A few days ago, I posted several memes addressing the current political landscape in the USA. In one of them, I wrote, "Worst POTUS ever has been asked to leave. 3 dots, brace yourselves." Alongside an image of the president and the letter he posted on X announcing he would not seek re-election. I have received criticism in the past about where I stand, and I'm always open to dialogue. Sometimes it happens, other times the assumptions are arrogant and lazy, in my humble view. A person in the field of the arts commented, "Yikes, you won't find a lot of sympathy in the arts with this point of view. I assume you're supporting Trump." Another person in the same field asked, "What? Are you drinking?" I post 2 pictures of the so-called images for those who are in the podcast. Behavior. I like to observe people's behavior, including my own. Motivations, intentions, and words sometimes do not align. I spend time investigating, reading, listening, and paying for courses under the guidance of knowledgeable mentors. I consider myself free as I have options to choose what I feel, sense, intuit, and think is right based on my experience. I have a hard time following leaders, especially when they seem incoherent. Am I suicidal or dumb? I don't think so. Response. Here's my response to the person who assumed something without being interested in a dialogue. Nowadays, social media makes us feel empowered with views and ideologies, and we all march blindly behind a flag that stands for something, promising to get us to another level of the video game. Stop. I have a mind of my own. Human behavior, what a praxis. So this was the question. Yikes, you won't find a lot of sympathy in the arts for this point of view. I assume you're supporting Trump. And my answer to it, never make assumptions on behalf of others. In the arts, are you referring to all the people who complied and rushed to get shots and boosters and bullied those of us who freely chose not to engage in such a scam? I broke free from the matrix in 2020 and moved to a free state, where I began studying Austrian economics and educating myself as a libertarian and free thinker. I raised questions about programming and herd mentality. Unfortunately, academia and the arts have been heavily influenced by brainwashing. Freedom and property rights are paramount and form the foundation of my beliefs and principles. I need not conform to anyone's views to define my character. I am interested in creating a synthesis based on experience and logical praxis. Do Google praxeology and human action. We're entering very dark times, and I refuse to let fear guide my path. Exploring the history of money and uncovering the Federal Reserve scam is crucial in understanding the economic landscape and the forces at play. This ongoing inquiry has become the basis of my exploration. The woke/Marxist agenda is invasive and unreasonable, violating property rights, including individuals' ownership of their bodies. This issue is particularly apparent when exploring perspectives that change conventional notions of property rights in terms of personal autonomy and self-determination. The woke/Marxist perspective advocates for a more flexible and comprehensive understanding of property rights, especially concerning gender identity and bodily autonomy. However, the woke Marxist agenda contradicts itself by supporting mandatory vaccination, defending abortion, and now claiming to support the current occupation of Gaza as a human rights issue. This inconsistency raises whether this agenda truly comprehends property rights or merely uses them when convenient. Once again, the agenda tends to favor the state imposing control over freedom and property rights. From the perspective of the Austrian economics, the libertarian standpoint is rooted in the principles of individual sovereignty and self-ownership, highlighting the critical role of personal autonomy in upholding freedom within society. By recognizing that any infringement of an individual's right to make decisions about their own body constitutes a form of violence, libertarians advocate for a society where voluntary interactions in free markets are paramount. In this framework, aggression and occupation are rejected, as they undermine the principles of mutual consent and voluntary collaboration that drive the prosperity and advancement of civilization through peaceful trade and cooperation. Personally, this dilemma raises concerns about the influence of children in school and intrusion at a young age, when they're more susceptible to programming, and the potential infringement of parents' rights to defend their children's education from such ideologies. Parents are the custodians of their children until they grow up, not their owners. So, to get to the heart of the matter, the history of the current fiat monetary system that is based on a creed that is on the individuals trusting their government for protection is where a lot of these problems have started. Why is the dollar losing value since the inception of the central bank? Is the government supposed to interfere with open markets? If so, isn't this a socialist agenda? Many questions need space and time to be both questioned and answered. I don't want to be a puppet of other people's will. Thus, informing about my views after spending resources on education is what I have a calling for. Laissez faire. Live and let live. I encourage others to ask their leaders, bosses, children, and neighbors questions. Engage in a dialectic processes that lead to dialogues, a place that allows the emergence of new ideas and may create innovation. I did reach out privately to this person with the response above, to which he answered with another question: who are you voting for? I responded with the following. To his credit, he was courteous, so I have to give him that credit. So the image says, who are you voting for? And I write, let's talk about the above before answering your inquiry. I am open to dialogue, not answering questions on demand. So he responded, I understand, wish you well. Who am I voting for is my own business. My First Amendment still protects my right to speak up and say from my heart what I consider true. And that is an inalienable right I am planning to stand for. Have a great week. I do include some freebies here on property rights for those who are kind of curious about it. So there's a quote here. It says, as the COVID ordeal clearly demonstrated, property rights really do represent the first domino when it comes to defending all the rest of our liberties. And as too many of our fellow citizens demonstrated, the wise majority of all, too willing to allow the expropriation of their neighbors or even of themselves, if they believe this sacrifice will protect them from all the evils and dangers of life. Of course, this is nothing more than wishful thinking, but it is so widespread, so strongly encouraged, and so normalized that all governments have come to rely on it to garner public support, and justifiably so. This was written in 2022 by Claudio Grass. COVID-19 and the continuous erosion of private property rights. There's a link to the Mises Institute, which has amazing free resources. Then I give a link of a video that is published by New Discourses. James Lindsay is amazing at advocating new ideas about how Marxism has infiltrated our society with the ideology/religion of wokeism. So there's a very good video there that is titled The New Law and Politics of Parental Rights, which is what's happening right now, unfortunately, in the state of California. Then I put a link to my mentor in Austrian economics/Bitcoin and fiat currency. Saifedean Ammous just had a talk with Marty Bent from TFTC, and the title says, when I tell people they don't believe me. And this is all about property rights and the Gaza genocide that is happening right now as we speak. And then the last one is a very fun series of it's a playlist that is called Praxeology 101, and there are, I believe, 10 lessons by I should get her name. I don't have it here. I will write it on the thing. So this is all for now. I was not intending to write anything. I felt that it was more important for me to write it in a proper way as opposed to be going back and forth and, social media posting that it's so diminishing and tiresome. I did have some fallback from some people on Facebook as well, but I'm here to just stand for myself. Have a great weekend, and I hope you're doing well. Bye-bye.